Welcome back to the Sovereign Ratio. Today we're going to take a look at a Cosmos DeFi play called RebusChain that I think has decent potential in the next bull market to be something to consider investing in for the next bull run, that also has a fairly robust staking platform that's easy to use. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave me a comment below. So what is Rebus? Well, according to their website, Rebus is claiming to take DeFi mainstream with an intersection between TradeFi and DeFi. So while it is a Cosmos ecosystem project, it is also forming its own ecosystem at the same time. Rebus has VertoTrade, which is the official decentralized network on RebusChain, offering a full suite of DeFi services and providing easy access to a diverse range of assets from tokens to NFTs. Also, it's developing a protocol called NFT ID, which is a new era of identity management within NFTs. Utilizing the power of NFT technology, NFT ID offers a secure, decentralized approach to identity authentication. And also, part of that ecosystem is Mining Architect, which says experience the thrill of operating your own virtual mining farm powered by real-world mining operations in Iceland. Utilize unique NFT miners to generate game tokens and swap them into real cryptocurrencies with VertoTrade. Scrolling down just a little bit further, RebusChain is the gateway for DeFi and TradeFi interaction, designed to make DeFi products accessible to traditional investors. We're not just about pushing the boundaries of what's possible, we're about tearing down walls and making the complex simple. So it says that it has integrations with Tendermint, Ethereum, Cosmos, and Ignite. As this is an EVM project, it would make sense that it's integrated with Ethereum. Clicking on the app in the upper right corner will actually take you to the Rebus staking platform, which we'll look at now. Clicking on app will land you right here where it says My Assets. On the left, there's Assets, Stake, Vote, and Tools. Those should be pretty self-explanatory. You've got your assets here, you can stake here, you can vote on propositions here, and there's other tools available. Down here in the bottom left, it will show you the total Rebus value of whatever wallet you're using, which I happen to be using Kepler at the moment. And then it'll give you a total asset summation here on the top, along with a more detailed asset listing here below, showing all the assets that are available within the ecosystem. Going over to staking, it will show you again the number of available tokens, the number of spendable tokens, how many total tokens you have staked already, and what the current rewards are, along with the validators that you've chosen. As you can see, I've got 4 different validators here because I do think that Verto will probably launch its own token at some point, so I want to have some of that delegated into Verto, and also Kalia Network looked like one that could potentially have its own token in the future, so I went ahead and delegated some there. On this particular app, I would recommend coming back here every day or two and actually claiming the rewards, because the transaction fee on Rebus is extremely low and it's not going to cost you very much money to do so. It's like less than 1/10 of a Rebus to perform a transaction. So I would come in here every couple days, claim whatever rewards you have, and then redelegate it into one of these and just continually stack that up to continue staking more and earning more out of it. Taking a look at CoinMarketCap, you can see that Rebus is currently trading at 0.006415 cents. with a market cap of $479,000, which is almost nothing, and a rank of 2,849. So this is one of those tokens that is either going to be a big hit or a big miss. If it survives the rest of the point up until the halving, I think it could be potentially a big hit, but this is very risky, so do invest at your own discretion and risk. Now, looking at the chart, you can see that back in 2022, in late 2022, the token first became available for trade, and you can see that all the initial investors sold it off right off the bat. Ever since then, it's just been grinding down here under a penny, where it currently still is. It did have a nice little spike the other day, like a little 30 or 40% move, I believe, up to just about a penny, and then went back down. But for the most part, this has just been very consolidatory in nature for a long time. And it's also not available to trade on very many platforms. Currently, you can trade it on Osmosis, Bitmart, and MEXC, and that's it. So it is a little bit more challenging to get, especially if you're not using a VPN. It's also to note that the volume in the last 24 hours is $229,000. So its volume is almost half of its total market cap. So this is trading very frequently. And also the total supply of Rebus appears to be 377 million tokens with a max supply of 1 billion tokens. Now, generally tokens that are this low on the market cap may not be accurate in platforms like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, so I'm not really confident in what I'm seeing here, but looking at the tokenomics, they're pretty bad. So this is something that I potentially want to invest in a very small amount just in case it does happen to do something crazy, especially being in the Cosmos ecosystem, which has a lot of hot narratives right now and a lot of airdrops going on with Injective and Akash and Stars and Osmosis and Kujira, all of that. Cosmos ecosystem is looking good for this next bull run, and this happens to be a very micro cap or low cap in that ecosystem that caught my attention. I will say on Twitter, Rebus is doing a decent job of updating its investors and followers on the roadmap for next year, Q1 and Q2, and also the release of its testnet for Verdo trade. People have been able to get into there and test, and I imagine there's probably going to be some sort of airdrop for that. That's why I personally delegated some Rebus to Verdo trade, because I'm pretty sure they'll probably do an airdrop. Just my guess, I really don't know that for sure. But they do have 22.8 thousand followers on Twitter, which isn't horrible. That's pretty good for a project that's this low on the market cap ranking. So that's nice to see. And they are updating pretty frequently here. So that's also nice to see. One thing that does bother me is whenever there's not correct capitalization and grammar in tweets. That is a red flag for me. So like when you start an entire tweet with a lowercase w, that I'm not a big fan of that. It doesn't show a lot of credibility in the person at least writing it. Maybe that's not representative of the project, but that is representative of the employee that wrote it. So that is something I noticed, just little things like that. But overall, if you're putting in a very, very, very small amount and just continually reaping the staking rewards, I don't think it's a bad idea to try to shoot for the moon on this one, just in case it does take off. The next logical question would be, well, what's the moon? Well, we can look back on TradingView here, and again, this replicates the data we already looked at CoinMarketCap. Here on MEXC, it had gotten to a point of 32.5 cents back in November of 2022, and again, it's just been a horrible looking chart up to today. If we go to something a little bit smaller time frame like the daily chart, you can see there have been a lot of fluctuations with spikes up. Very common of a very low cap project to do things like this, because projects like this that do eventually take off, a lot of this stops and it just becomes a more normal trading pattern. This is probably something like an unlock or a burn or something. I'm not really sure, but it does have a lot of spikes up fluctuations. It kind of reminds me of a project called Orchid that does this pretty frequently. And I've seen Superfarm do things like this too. But anyway, you can see on the daily chart, there's just not a lot. Now, I will say these moves are actually rather significant. This is the one I was talking about earlier. It actually went up to 1.2 cents. I was buying it right here, not for any particular reason as far as TA is concerned, but just because I found the project and I was like, hey, why not put $100 in here or whatever. So I did. And then this move was actually pretty big. It was 123%. So these are not small candles. I would personally wouldn't try to sell them, but it is what it is. It is having some activity anyway, which is good to see. We go back to the weekly chart. Next question, what is a big move? Well, that's hard to predict on a coin like this, right? So I'm going to default to my regular, which is a Fibonacci extension. Just called out the bottom. It's close enough. Obviously, all-time high is back up at 32.5 cents. From here, that is a robust 5,000%, 50x to the 1618. That's 52 cents, which is a 70x. And beyond that, who knows or cares? You know, I don't know. You know, if it were to go, definitely the 1618 is a possibility. I would say tokens like this that, you know, if we do get lucky in this altcoin lottery and something like this really takes off, you're not talking about 1618s. You know, you're talking about like 12 618s or something like that, like up here at $4. Like that would be a ridiculous gain. But with a market cap of 400 grand, I mean, that is a possibility. You know, that's a 240x, which again is not crazy for a token that's so low on the market cap, but I'm not even going to entertain that. I'm going to tell you 50 cents and we're going to leave it at that. So this video is definitely not financial advice, but I did want to point out this low cap Cosmos ecosystem play that I found. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, but just bringing information to you. And also the staking platform is really easy to use. So it is easy to compound Rebus. Even with a small investment, you can continue redelegating and putting more in and staking it. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you'd like me to do any specific altcoins that is of interest to you, and we'll see you in the next video. Safe trading.